What up, people? It is Friday, July 28th. Thank God it's Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday, whatever you want to use. But I'm saying thank God it's Friday. Tomorrow is Saturday. I get to sleep in. I get to sleep in the day, but I still got to go to work. But I get to sleep in. And guess what? I'm feeling energetic. I'm ready to give some encouragement. Also, you ever heard of a song that just kind of stays stuck in your mind? It's a good song back in the 70s and 80s. And when you hear it, man, you just bob your head and kind of snap your finger. Do you want to hear a song like that? Here's one for you.
Comic Track Entertainment.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Comic Chat. We back with another show, back with another entertainment series, word of the day, quote of the day, and scripture of the day. Man, that was the shout outs thing it was, man. Hop, 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 hop on the thing. Hop, 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 hop on the thing. I love that song. Hey, sorry. Hey, I heard it. I was like, man, yeah, that used to be my old intro back in the day. And I said, let me go ahead and throw it in there. But anyway, man, thank y'all for coming to the show. I definitely appreciate it. And before we get started, we're going to do what we always do, and that is asking you to subscribe. That's right. Subscribe, baby. If this is your first time ever laying eyes on me or on this show, please subscribe, hit that notification bell, click all, because I don't want you to miss any material that I upload in the future. Also, you see a little thumbs up, that's a like button. That means you liking the content that you're seeing. So make sure you click that. Also, leave me a comment. If you leave me a comment, I will read it and I will respond back to you. I appreciate each and every one of you that take the time out of your busy schedule to leave me a comment. Thank you very much. And last but not least, watch the whole video. Not just some of it, not just a piece of it, the whole thing from start to finish. That helps the YouTube algorithm. I done explained to you several times how it is. I'm going to do it again. If you watch the whole thing, that gives me a better placement in this whole YouTube algorithm. So if you punch in Danny Graham or Comic Chat or Encouragement Series, it will draw you or send you straight to my channel if you haven't subscribed. So please do that. That helps. Today's word, as we can see, is boom. Boom, 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 boom. Consistent. Consistent is the word of the day. Consistent. Whew. Is it going to be a humdinger? I don't know. But let's go ahead and see what the definition of consistent is. And that is acting or done in the same way over time, especially to be fair or accurate. I'll say that one more time. Consistent. Acting or done in the same way over time, especially to be fair or accurate. The scripture for consistent comes from my favorite book of the Bible, Proverbs. I'm telling you, that's gonna be my go-to book. Just letting you know right now. Proverbs 22nd chapter, 6th verse says, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. I'll say that one more time. Train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So if you're consistent in training your child while he is a child, he will consistently follow those ways. Now, sometimes he's going to veer off, but when push comes to shove, he's usually going to go back to what he was taught in his core values. And I know that I can definitely say that for me. On my parents, my family, my grandmother raised me, and they taught me certain core values. And when I went off in the Marine Corps and traveled the world and that kind of stuff, I did some crazy stuff. I ain't going to sit here and lie. But when it came to stuff that was morally wrong and core values, I stuck to them because I already had that foundation. So that is a very true statement there in Scripture. Consistency. So, the quote of the day is, sometimes to do what's right, we must be steady and give up things we want most, even our dreams. Sometimes to do what's right, we must be steady and give up things we want most, even our dreams. That's a Spider-Man quote. That's where I got it from. Peter Parker said that. Now, my thoughts on it. Consistent. Being consistent in today's world is very seldom sustainable, especially if consistency pertains to positive aspects of life. Now more than ever, evil, now evil, on the other hand, and immorality are occurring at a more title today. Let me start over. Being consistent in today's world is very seldom sustainable, especially if consistency pertains to positive aspects of life. Now, evil, on the other hand, and immorality are occurring at a much more frequent and aggressive pace, which is consistent with what is said about the end of days. Look at all this stuff that's going on. It says in the Bible, the end of days, all kinds of stuff is going to be active. It's going to be popping up and looking, and it's going to be start looking more like Sodom and Gomorrah, and stuff is going to start happening. There's going to be more things with the weather and more things with warring countries and stuff. This stuff is playing out. So I'm just saying, I didn't write the Bible. I'm just trying to tell you what it says. The Bible says that things will look right. Things that look right will be wrong, and things that look wrong will be right. I can see that every day, and truth be told, I've even seen it a few years in the past. I guess I just really didn't care about it now, back then. But I've been noticing that for years now. If you sit down and just think about it, you notice there's some things that look right and are dead wrong, or things that people say is right and you know it's dead wrong, and things that look wrong will be right. People are saying a lot of things are wrong. Now, it's wrong to do this, it's wrong to do that, but guess what? Morally, it's right. Just think in your mind what I'm telling you about, and just think what's going on, what we see today going on in full blast. One of my things I always try to be in my marriage, my job, or as a parent, and now a Christian, is to be consistent. Consistency is another version of being dependable, and I guess to a certain degree, predictable as well. In all aspects of your life, being consistent is a comfort if it's positive, but it's just an obstacle to avoid if it's negative. Let me say that one more time. One of my things I've always tried to be in my marriage, in my job, and as a parent, and now as a Christian, is to be consistent. Consistency is another version of being dependable, and I guess to a certain degree, predictable as well. In all aspects of your life, being consistent is a comfort if it's positive. It's an obstacle to avoid if it's negative. That's powerful. I like that last sentence. Being consistent and disciplined makes you successful, according to Denzel Washington. I guess he should know because he has achieved and maintained a level of success few other actors have ever seen or experienced. I always use this quote. Denzel Washington says, consistency plus discipline equals success. I got that formula on a plaque on my wall in my office right now today. That is one of my things, my quotes that I go by, and I say, I challenge you to pick a goal, find out what it takes to achieve that goal, then stay consistent and disciplined until you achieve it. That is the journey that I'm, Chat Danny, is now on as a Christian. I challenge any non-believer out there to take this journey as well. I'm going to say that one more time. I challenge you to pick a goal and find out what it takes to achieve that goal and stay consistent and disciplined until you achieve it. That is the journey that I am on now as a Christian, and I challenge any non-believer to take this journey as well. You going to take the challenge, or are you going to be a chicken? Jamie Cooper, you going to take that challenge? Or you going to be a chicken? Are you going to be a Dallas Cowboy? Yeah, you're going to be a Dallas Cowboy. But you may not take the challenge, so I know you're going to take the challenge. But anyway, consistent. To be a consistent leadership, there's a lot of things you have to be. And that's one of the things that in many interviews I've been in the past, they would ask, what don't you like about leaders? What three qualities you like about being a leader, or a good leader should have? What three qualities a good leader shouldn't have, or a leader shouldn't have? It's kind of confusing. What three qualities a good leader should have, and what are some qualities that you don't want to see in a leader? And one of the things I always say that I hate in any leader is inconsistent leadership. And what I mean by that is that one day they like this and the next day like that. very moody. I had a moody captain one time, and one day he come in and he'd be all laughing and smiling, and then the next day, like if you look at him, he's wanting to bite your head off. I don't like that kind of leadership. I know people have bad days, and I have bad days, but when I walk through the doors at my office, I try to compartmentalize and put that in the box and say, like, I'm just going to put it over here and set it here. I got to be professional, and I got to do. And some days it works more than others. I'm not going to sit here and lie. Some days that there is so much baggage, maybe at home or in a different aspect of your life, that you're going to carry it into your office sometime. But you just got to make sure and be mindful of it and catch yourself when you see yourself start maybe barking at people or doing stuff that's out the norm. That's when you got to sit down and self-aware and be like, hey, count to 10, Danny, don't do this, or whatever your name is, don't do this. Take a break, go out, take a walk around the building, go get in your truck or your car and go drive and clear your mind and come back. So just make sure that that you're consistent. Have a positive, consistent leadership style, attitude, because that's what your people are going to see. But I'm telling you, the higher you get in rank in any profession, or the more responsibility you get, manager, CEO, lieutenant, sergeant, captain, whatever title that you may have, that is a title above the regular workers, or you start supervising people, you are going to be watched, because they're going to take their keys and tones and your attitude from you. So if you project something that's positive or negative, then that's going to flow in a positive way, or it's going to flow in a negative way. If you promote something that's fairness, then that's going to trickle down. If you promote unfairness, that's going to trickle down. So you got to make sure any positive trait or aspect that you have, that you project that, and also you stay consistent. Now, the human factor is always going to come in. There's going to be bad days. There's going to be something that's going to push a button. You're not going to feel well. That's when you really have to summon in your discipline in this. If you can't summon in, it's better to just stay home, take a sick day or whatever, take a personal day or whatever, vacation day or whatever. Get your mind right, recharge. Like I said, are y'all seeing the theme when I'm using my words in the past to explain current words now? Because I think my first word of the whole series was recharge, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look back and double check to make sure. But I think the first word was recharge, or one of the first words was recharge. No, renewal. Renewal was the word. So renewal basically is the same thing as recharge. So I thought it was recharge, but renewal. Man, you gotta go and charge that battery. You got a friend of mine, Kenny Clark, going to get charge his battery next week. So he's gonna come back all fresh and ready to go and full of energetic, kind of like Popeye popping in that spinach and coming back all strong and ready to go. Enjoy your vacation, sir. Also, you gotta have open communication. If you're gonna be a good leader, a consistent leader, you gotta have open communication, and then you gotta tell your people, man, y'all talk to me, and I'm gonna check in with you on a regular basis. One thing I try to do as a leader, if any of my people are out sick, or if any of my people have death in the family, or if there's some kind of issue, and I have a captain and 2 lieutenants that work under me at my sheriff's office, and I call those people. I call them myself. I may ask the captain how they're doing, whatever. But usually, if it's something sick or some kind of illness, or they got to be out for an extended period of time, but I think for having helping their wives with the children or their husbands, whatever the case may be, if they're out maternity leave, whatever the case may be, if they're out some kind of illness or issue, I try to always check in myself and let them know, hey, look, man, think about you. If you need anything, give me a call. You have to be consistent. You have to show your people that you care, because there are going to be times that sometimes you may have to be stern on them, but they also need to see that there's a human part of you as well. My mindset, yesterday's word, changed, because when I first became major, I was a lot more stern. Another key word I did. See how I'm using these words? And sometimes a bit too stern, too rigid. So you gotta learn to find that happy balance, that happy medium, and know when to use certain words or certain actions and certain leadership traits and style. But you gotta find that perfect mix. And I think I'm working on that. I'm not perfect there yet for us, that mixture of sternness and the human quality, but I'm trying to get there. And I'm never going to be perfect. No one ever is going to be perfect. But I'm going to be as close to it as possible for as leadership styles, for as being a husband, for as being a Christian, for as being a human being. I'm going to try and do the right thing as much as humanly possible. And if I do stumble and fall, then of course I'm going to ask for forgiveness. I ask that person for forgiveness. But I have a conscious mindset now to try to have consistent leadership. I want to try to be the same as I am on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm off on Sundays. But if I work on Sundays, make sure that I try to be the same. Try to get the same kind of energy. Try to get the same kind of advice. Try to get the same kind of demeanor and stuff. Now, there's going to be sometimes, like I said, the human factor is going to come in, and there's going to be anger going to spike. And there's going to be times that I may get a little mad if something crazy is said or done. But I have to realize and make myself sit down and be like, Danny, do not make a decision in anger. Never make that is a bad leadership quality, to make a decision while you are red hot mad. Don't do that. You got to calm down. You got to see the other person's point of view, and you got to make sure that you make an intelligent, informed, consistent decision. Sometimes the decision may be, depending on how egregious the particular infraction that they did. I've seen some cost people their jobs. I've seen some cost some days at home. I've seen some cost some money. I've seen some been demoted. So it just depends on what is done. You just got to make sure that when you make that decision that you have exhausted every other reason. Or sometimes they're going to put you, you're going to be put into a place where you got to do something. That goes back to what I used to say about how the laws here in South Carolina say that you must do some things and that you may do some things. Depending on what is done, you must do some things, and depending on what's done, you may do some things. So when you have the ability to may do some things, then that's when you show compassion, humanity, and that kind of stuff, and try to show consistent, fair discipline. But if not, and it's must, then you got to do what you got to do. But still, you can be humane about it. You still can be compassionate about it. But look, man, I wish I didn't. But I have to do this because the law says ABC 1, 2, 3. There's a way you can do it. Delivery, tact. Those are other leadership qualities that tact definitely is one. And I have to work on that sometime, because sometimes, like you said, and I keep saying this, I don't want to sound redundant, but the human factor, man, sometimes can mess up things. So that's why I always say I pray for being slow to anger and bridle my tongue. And I ask Lord to choose my words, because the tongue, boy, is one of the sharpest weapons on the planet. And I know I've used mine in the day to cut up people, boy. I ain't gonna sit here and lie. I've been cut before with the tongue, and I've been cutting some people with the tongue. I'm trying not to cut people with the tongue. But like I said, that human factor, boy, sometimes, boy, it just makes you like, you ever been in a situation where your employee or your spouse or your child or whatever, your friend, whatever, does something so crazy and so stupid that you just want to do this to them?
This is Sparta!
Whew. One of the best movies ever made at 300. There are sometimes, boy, that you can't believe that somebody just did this, or your spouse just did this, or a church member, or whatever. And you want to look back and say, this person or this fool just did this. And right in the pit. Can't do that, but that was just metaphorically speaking. But sometimes I want to consistently do. Would never do that, but like, boy, why? But anyway, that was just a joke. Nothing. I would never kick anybody in the pit like that. But when I saw it, I was like, that'd be a good thing to do. Try to break up the, have a little fun with it. That's all. But consistency, man. It is definitely it is a strength, and what a consistent leader should do is treat all their people fair. Because I went to the leadership class and it said a lot of people don't leave for money. A lot of people leave jobs because of their leaders. You gotta learn how to talk to your people. You gotta learn how to treat the people fair. Because sometimes when you talk to your people a certain way and it turns them off, they'll shut down. And if you do something crazy, they won't have your back. So you gotta learn how to talk to people. I had to learn. I've gotten better, but I still can be improved. I still can improve in the way that I talk to people sometimes when I get a little angry or heated. I'm trying to make sure that I choose my words and I breathe deep, count to whatever in my mind, and before I say it. But sometimes you still can't cover it up like you should. And I'm telling you, your employees, your subordinates that are working under you, they're watching you. You can think that you're doing a good job, but they're watching you. And when you make a mistake, they catch it, they talk about it. And if you're not consistent, or if you don't go, and if you talk a certain way to somebody and you don't go back and apologize to them, I'm telling you, they are holding it against you, and they are looking at you with a fine tooth comb, and you better not mess up. Because if you mess up, they're going to be cheering for your downfall. You ever heard Biggie Smalls? One of his songs is, "They pray for my downfall." That's what happens. You become too much of a negative, inconsistent leader that don't know how to talk to people, they will pray for your downfall. And sometimes their prayers will be answered and sometimes it won't. So just got to make sure in leadership position that you must learn how to talk to people. Sometimes we can be nice, nasty. Sometimes we can be raw and uncut. One of my people that work for me said I used to be raw and uncut. I don't want to be raw and uncut unless I truly, truly, truly have to be. So I'm trying to show consistency, trying to use tact, trying to take a deep breath, trying not to make decisions out of anger, trying to all that to be consistent. Because either a consistent leader can be both positive and negative. And I'm going to explain what I mean. If you're doing positive things and you're doing things, you're being respectful, you're being knowledgeable, you have the knowledge to be, and you're passing it on, you're using tact, that kind of stuff. That's fine. That's a positive, consistent leader. But if you're doing the opposite, like you don't know how to talk to people, you come to work late, your paperwork is all messed up, and you always the glass is half empty, and you just talking all this negative stuff. I hate this. This is dumb. This is stupid. That kind of. That's a negative leader, and guess what? People pick up on that, and then they'll know. And like I said earlier, being consistent is also being dependable. You can be dependable in a good way. It can be dependable in a bad way. When something goes up, they'll be like, well, let's get Danny, Brian, and Chuck because they're dependable. But no, we're not even going to mess with Susie, Clark, and Duncan because they ain't going to do nothing. And like I said, if it's a negativity, if you being a negative leader, it's only an object to avoid. It's the obstacle to avoid. No one wants to be avoided. No one wants to be the last person. When you're picking teams, no one wants to be the last person. That's not a good feeling. I've seen it in the NBA. I've seen it on the playground. I've seen it in football. When you're the last person that pick, you be like, man, am I that bad? Or did I suck that bad? And sometimes you do. And in leadership, if you to say your people that work for you, like, man, I ain't messing with Sarge, or I ain't messing with Lieutenant, I ain't messing with Captain. Because all they're going to do is say da 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 da, and then the problem's not going to get solved, or it's going to build up, it's going to fester, and then when it explodes, it's going. Sometimes it can be fixable, but sometimes you got to go through hoops just to get it fixed. So let's just make sure that we try to be a consistent leader in every aspect of our life. Try to be a consistent spouse, try to be a consistent church member, try to be a consistent whatever profession you're in. Just make sure we try to be consistent as much as humanly possible. So until Monday, I will be back, same back time, same back channel. I definitely appreciate you all. And until then, take it easy and peace.